transferring across. You should be able to hear me on the stream now, hopefully. I'm going to try and listen in here as well. You should be able to... There we go. Right, okay, yeah, I can hear myself on the stream. Excellent. So, welcome to... I think this could be the final stream for the night. It's a view from CiC. What we've got together are 2 TSN RP community crews. So they're all experienced TSN players. We also recruited a cadet. So we have somebody new joining as well. For this, we're going to be running the TSN mod and the full sandbox script as well. So this is what we use like week in, week out, every Saturday about this time we go out and we fly and basically do missions. So I have 2 crews. Which 2 ships were you running?
Well, we have Neiman now, so we could run Viper and Stalker.
I actually have to back out.
Ah, sad face.
Alright, so we are going to be running the TSN Viper, which is
disconnected from
an Apollo class cruiser.
Affirmative.
And the TSN Stalker, which is a Artemis class light cruiser. So we have those 2 vessels. They are slight variations on the normal ones that you get in game because they're a bit more energy efficient. And I've got a mission for them. So diplomats are being held in a nearby system that is currently overrun by hostile forces. You need to move into that system and rescue those diplomats. We're expecting heavy enemy forces in the area. We're also expecting a heavily defended base that you'll have to attack. There have been rumours that the Corellians have been upgrading their weapon systems as well, so torpedoes and mines may not be as effective against their weapons platforms. You'll have to make sure that your science takes a look at them to make sure that you're aware of which weapons platforms may be providing additional defensive capabilities. To be able to get the Marine teams aboard the station, you'll have to use the Marine rendezvous points and a shuttle to deploy your Marine teams. They'll move through and try and secure the diplomats. As soon as they're secure, your shuttles will need to go in, rendezvous and pick up those Marine teams, and then you'll fall back to Allied space. Any questions?
Which system 6 sector will we be in?
That's a very good question. I did build a sandbox and I can't remember which 2 systems we're in. Give me just a second. You will be deploying from the Ashir system and moving into the Acantha system, which is currently being overrun by enemy forces.
Copy
Are
that.
the diplomats humans, just to keep the Marines from being, shall we say, itchy-fingered?
Some of them are.
Do we know which sector in Acantha the diplomats are being held at? And which station, perhaps?
Once you've transited the Ashir gate, we believe they are being held in Sector 8 and in one of the stations in Sector 8. There are 2 civilian stations there that have been, based on intelligence information, converted into prisoner of war holding stations. So move through the Ashir gate. You may have to push through some resistance to get into Sector 8, and then it will be the most heavily defended station, we assume.
Copy that.
Alright, get your crews organised. I'm going to move down to the command and control deck and report in once you're ready to go.
Do you know, real quick, what modules we have available?
Stand by. If you're running ship 1, there is no module installed. And if you're running ship
3 and 7.
3 and 7. So ship 7 has decoys installed and 3 has no modules. Ship
excellent.
3 has a marine team and ship 7 has a marine team. You've got 1 marine team each. 1 marine team should be more. You do have engineer teams, comms relays and everything as well, but we don't expect you to be able to be required to use them.
Medical teams, depending on the shape of the diplomats.
Medical teams are aboard, however we prefer that they weren't deployed because they'll be going into hazardous environments. Medical teams will be standing by on your vessels instead.
Emergency use only.
Roger that.
Very good. I believe that's all the questions I have.
Right.
All right, let's get your ships on.
Okay.
Channel switched.
Okay, so if you're watching on the stream, that was the mission briefing. They're now moving to ships. You won't be able to see that because it's on our TeamSpeak server. I've got 2 windows open at the moment. One I'm going to have with a captain's map on ship 3, because I'll be in ship 3. And one I'm going to have as the Game Master console as well. And the reason why I'm taking the captain's map, and I'll have backup comms as well. The reason why I'm taking these is because the captain's map is going to give me a view of what they can see. So if I spawn any Scarans, I'll be able to see them, but they might not necessarily be able to see them. The comms map as well, I'm just going to turn that desktop sound down, sorry. The comms will allow me to act as a backup as well, just in case the comms menu fails for any reason. I can be like a backup for them. I'm not going to be able to do a lot of watching the live chat, but I'm going to try and set it up so I can see it as we go. So if you do want to say something in the live chat, you can do. Like I say, we're using the full version of the TSN mod, so there'll be some things that I can spawn that you can't spawn in the vanilla Artemis, and we are also using the full TSN mod itself, which has some changes. So there's changes to energy systems, there's changes to some weapon systems as well. There's different kinds of Krallians in there. So you'll get to see some of those because I'm going to go through as we're going in, and I'm going to deploy some of those. Hopefully my update to the weapons platform works. I'm sat here crossing my fingers on that one. Recently I added new AI to them so that when the weapons platforms spawn, they spawn with anti-torp and anti-mine special AI. It means that if they try and fire a nuclear torpedo towards them, they're just going to get shot down. And what I want to try and do is set up nice kind of defensive perimeters that are going to be very difficult for them to shoot through. Slate captain to all ships, reporting once your crews standing by and ready for launch. Okay, so I'm also looking at the Stellar navigation console. I'm going to show you actually my display. So if I transition out, this is a Stellar cartography map. So if I go to view lower arc, they are going to be starting in the Ashia system and moving through the Acantha system, as long as I've remembered it correctly. And in the Ashia system, you can see it's a 3x3 system, and there's the Acantha gate there. So I think what I'll do is I'll start them from Ashia command and let them fly out to the Acantha gate. Once they've transited through the Acantha gate, it will bring them out in the Acantha system here. At the Ashia gate. And then they've got to come down into Sector 8, and this is where most of the enemies are going to be as well. So after they transitioned here, what I need to do is make sure these enemies, these bases are set as enemies so they can't dock there. And I think I also might put in some enemy patrols that they have to kind of evade. Although it'd be quite easy for them to evade because they are warp ships. So they'll just be able to fly past, so I'm not too worried about that. It'll just be a bit of flavour, I suppose, a bit of fluff around it that they can avoid. And then when they get into this area, I'm probably going to set up some... Stand by. I'm probably going to get a few weapons platforms set up and reduce their sensors. TSN Stalker, this is command and control. Roger that, Stalker. TSN Viper, this is command and control. TSN Viper, are you ready to go? Alright, something that we've got as well is communication between ships. You'll hear it just about in the background. If I click ready to play here, it's probably going to sound out, I think. Nope. You'll hear it in the background. It'll sound like radio comms because of a filter that I've got on TeamSpeak 3. Let's see. I'm going to switch back to my game mode now because we've launched. Here we go. I connect here and connect here. Right, what I need to do now is wait till everybody spawns. So the Viper's spawn, I'm just waiting for the Stalker to spawn now. The stream, alright, yeah, we should have everything there. Nice thing is the sound's gone off now. Okay. And there's the TSN Stalker in. If I keep this captain's map up on, I believe, is the captain's map on the bottom right? Yep, and my GM console's on the top left. So, let's just switch back to the stream so I can see. Right, so activate the GM mode. I've got the lower arc systems and they're going to start in a shear system and they're going to start in a shear sector 6. I'll go here and I'm going to drop them by a shear command. Give the players there. There we go. Right.
Viper, rendezvous with Viper in Bravo 1, roughly Mark 4.
Viper, this is Stalker. Acknowledge.
If you're watching the stream, tell me if the music's too loud or anything like that. I can turn it down, I can tweak it. Tell me as well if you can hear those guys in the background. Hopefully you can. When they're talking and communicating, because you'll hear the comms between the ships. It only comes between the captains, and they'll be giving specific orders to each other and things like that. There'll be one lead vessel and there'll be one kind of the other one working together with it. We call these formations battle groups in the TSN. So you can see the spawn menu's a bit more expanded because we've got different types of enemies that we can draw on. So there's the Acantha Gate.
Stalker Viper, rendezvous at Acantha Gate.
So the system side, I want to try it. So this is something that's kind of a bit untested at the minute. If I select Hegemony Side 1, when they jump through the Acantha Gate, that system, the whole system should be on Side 1. So it should overwrite the side. And I'm going to get ready with some spawns. So I'm going to go to, let's have a look, interactions. I want to reduce the range without them knowing. So where is it? Sensors, there it is. Sensor range, and I'm going to reduce it to 8,000 without them knowing. Then what I can do, you see, is I can go down here. And if you watch the captain's map, they won't be able to see the spawns going on that I'll be making. So I'm going to have a heavy Targoth fleet. And it appears on mine, but it doesn't appear on theirs, which is perfect. Krellian fleet, heavy fleet here. There we go, and it's spawned on the right side as well, excellent. And let's get a mixed fleet in there as well. So, go to interactions menu. Sensors, and I'm going to restore the sensors back to unlimited.
Striker Vapor.
Let's give them something to think about.
We're going to try and stay away from these forces as much as we can. We're going to try to not get their attention before we get to the station. Orders Charlie.
Not going to be as easy as that. I'm not going to let them kind of sneak through. Let's go. So this is a Scarran medium fleet. This is quite a heavy fleet for them to handle. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to try and get a defense platform. Let's see.
We're tractored.
Oh, that's good. Oh, the Viper's really. We've got 2 tractors in there. I need to help them out here, otherwise they are going to end up dying. See what I mean by quite a tricky bunch? I'm gonna have to help them out, otherwise they're just gonna die, and it's no fun for the players if they just die. There we go, they're out of the tractor, they're escaping.
Striker Viper, we've taken heavy damage. We're moving off.
So these Scarrans are going to be quite a handful for them to have to handle. Because of all the specials. I mean, you imagine one Scarran's quite tricky. 4 or 5 are even harder. No, they're going to have to really coordinate to get rid of them. If Stalker can take out that one, then these guys can take out those 4. Looks like Stark has managed to kill its target. They need to team up here. I'm also pulling this group back here
Sucker Vapor report.
so that they're not going to get overwhelmed by 3
Viper,
fleets
we
coming in.
suffered some damage, but should be come back through. I'm just going to check that we still have Walker clones.
Let's bring them to a halt. And then shift them in this direction. So that Charlie group are now there.
Contacts have anti-mine, so we're going to be dropping mines. Feel free to join us on that.
Acknowledge
And the
Viper,
Alpha
we will
group.
follow.
Try and get them going straight up. So using this AI menu, I'm just maneuvering these enemy fleets here. Just to position them where I want, so it looks more interesting, but they're not necessarily just going to attack them. Let's set them to hunt player. They're now going to try and track the player. But you see they've got their hands full with these Scarans. Let's put a bit more pressure on them. Spawn in here. So the AI menu at the bottom stays up when you're spawning stuff in. Let's get a heavy Corellian fleet. Really do need to work together to take these out. Let's see what they do. Ah, they've got one. So Scarans are definitely more deadly in this. You know, you get 2 Scarans with tractors on, and you can lose your players. That's why I had to help them out a little bit there.
We can't keep this up.
It's where they need to refocus on that objective. TSN Command to 4th Flight Division.
Viper, go ahead.
Stand by. CSC, go ahead.
This is Command. We've managed to identify which base the diplomats are being held at. They're in Sector 8. That's one transition to the Echo Line. You need to move there as the forces in this area have been alerted to your presence.
Confirmed we are en route.
Okay, so that's my little kind of nudge in the right direction for them.
Sucker Vapor, we are leaving this sector. Form up on Vapor. We're moving to the Echo Line.
Okay, so up here I've got this delete ships. This will delete all of these ships that I've got. And then I'll have to sort of start respawning new stuff. So they're going to come in here. And I'm going to have to set up rendezvous points and weapons platforms and stuff for them to have to take out. So we're looking around. Let's have a look. So up here in this area. That's where I'm going to be setting up my weapons platforms. So this is where one station's going to be, and this is where the other station's going to be. can switch to an observer screen down here. Eight ships.
Structural Vapor, sit tight for just a moment. We'll then regain some energy.
Acknowledge Viper.
So we are going to have hegemony assets sat round here. Defense platform. Defense platform. Defense platform. Defense platform. Come on, spawn it. Skyrim base over here. Hegemony fleets. Heavy Targoth fleet here.
Structural Vapor report.
Heavy Krillian fleet here.
Viper, Stalker, we are energy.
Let's get
A little bit more time to...
Heavy Targoth command fleet here.
Acknowledge.
And here I want a heavy mixed fleet. That's going to be Tango Group. So Tango Group's going to sit on the target. Tango Group, all stop. And go to player. So we've got lots of enemies for them to worry about now. I'm also going to give them something to think about because they're sat about a bit too much. So let's make it medium this time.
Structural Vapor, we are going to move into Bravo 4, Mark 2 and 3. We're going to launch heavies at Tango Fleet. Stay evasive from the Scarens as much as we can.
Acknowledge Viper.
So now I want points of interest. So this is going to be a rendezvous point because I need marine teams on here. So I'm going to set up a deployment
Viper, this is Stalker. Do you have any specific orders for us?
here
Apart from remaining of
and a deployment
Lambda heavy on Tango Fleet.
here.
Acknowledge.
Tango fleet, they're moving for that, so I'm going to start them moving. Hunt player. They're going to activate a load of our volume fights from these weapons platforms in a second. And then I want Tango fleet moving. There we go. They're not just going to sit idly by, getting nuked. Shift them around like that.
Structural Vapor, change of plans. We're trying to get Tango on all the ships in the area. Your task is to put the Marines on the station.
Right, that's not going to work. Because I'm going to start using Quebec.
Acknowledge Viper.
And I'm also going to frustrate their plans with the Skyrim. So I'm trying to keep things interesting for them. The objective isn't to destroy all of the enemies. The objective here is to actually just get the marine teams on and then extract them. And I'm also deliberately maneuvering the enemies so that they don't just act in a very kind of like everyone goes for the Viper kind of fashion. Let's get a small brilliant fleet launching for me. There we go. Right, I don't think I want to put any more enemies on them, but I do want to hurry up the Sierra fleet a little bit. Oh, in fact, no, because they've got to get fighters out. They've got to get their shuttle out to get onto rendezvous point 1 and 2 to get marine teams on. So you look at them dragging the fighters away. Either going to let them burn out, or Viper's going to deploy a mine on them. Wipe out most of those fighters straight away. Nice. It's quite a good chunk of fighters there though. They've got the marine teams loading up. Now what they got to do is try and draw these enemies away so they can get their shuttles through. They've also got these, one of the ships has a decoy. There's the decoy. So the decoy lasts for a certain amount of time and it distracts. Basically it's for when they've got a massive cloud of drones following them, they can use the decoy to frustrate the targeting systems of the drones. That's the intention. Looks like the fighters are returning to base. I'm not going to throw anything else at them at the minute. I'm going to put some enemies down here so there's more enemy fleets coming in. Just to create interest rather than actually anything that's going to harm them. You know, so it doesn't look like a completely empty area of space. There we go. These aren't going to be any kind of threat, hopefully, because by the time they get up there, they should be clearing out. So they're still working on pulling out these enemy fleets. Got more closing in on them there. There goes the Odysseus. Let's get on the observer screen here. I bet this would be a good view actually. So right now I don't really need to do much in terms of game mastering because I've kind of set up the scenario. It's up to those guys now to do what they can. Hopefully the Odysseus doesn't get destroyed. Oh, very nice. Stalker there using its decoy. We've been talking about how to make these decoys a little bit less powerful.
Stalker Vapor, rendezvous 1 is for your shuttle.
Takedown's 5.
TSN Viper, this is command.
CiC Vapor, go ahead.
TSN Viper, Marines have established a hold at the airlocks on the base. However, they require additional reinforcements before they can push in to secure the diplomats.
That's acknowledged. Stalker should be able to get those on that base shortly.
So the trick's going to be to try and draw away all these enemy forces so that they've got a clear run through to rendezvous point 1, which is going to be hard to do. They do have the ordnance to be able to mine stuff. Looks like Viper is getting the attention of these enemy forces. Ah, they're trying to make a hole in the defences there with Lima 88. Okay, I'm going to help them out a bit. I'm going to destroy that one for them. That was a good hit. Destroy that, and I'm going to replace it, if I can, with a wreck. Debris. hegemony.
CiC, Stalker, we're missing our communication.
I don't think I've got a hegemony, right? Oh, no, I don't think I have that. TSN Stalker, this is command, repeat your last.
Command and control, this is Stalker, we're missing our communications.
So you're missing your communications. Not quite catching what they're saying.
So our communication menu options regarding shuttle and other operations are no longer available.
Roger that, try now, they've just been reset.
Striker Vapor, what's the situation?
Confirmed, we have it available.
There we go. That's why I always have a couple of backup comms menus, because if their comms goes offline or they have to reset.
Making sure that enemy ships are cleared before heading in for shuttle operations to drop marine.
Right. What I'm going to do down here is I'm going to spawn in another hegemony force, medium fleet, and a medium fleet. It's becoming imperative now that they actually do something about that rendezvous point 1. Looks like Stalker's moving in. Looks like Stalker's getting into trouble. The Adonis has gone. Marines are deployed. Stalker's definitely in trouble there. Alright, it's rendezvousing with the Adonis at the other side. There it goes. I think the Adonis tried to dock and failed to. Oh, they might lose the Adonis. They might lose the Stalker here.
Striker Vapor, we're moving in. We're gonna try
Viper,
and
we
take
need
those,
assistance.
fighters
Yeah.
off you.
So we've got Mayday, 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 Viper.
Stalker needs to get out of there, otherwise they're gonna be trapped.
Striker
Oof.
Vapor, get away. We're gonna try and screen drones and such. You're going the wrong direction, buddy.
Viper, that's a negative. We have zero impulse, zero propulsion.
Give them some propulsion. Repair ship. Repair impulse. There we go.
Striker Vapor, we have Tango. Try and get your repairs done.
Acknowledge Viper.
It's twice they've almost died. This shouldn't be a mission that completely overwhelms them. They really do have to kind of work together. Fourth light, this is command.
Stand by, command.
Hmm. Oh, this is going to be a failed mission for them. TSN Stalker, this is command.
CiC, but
TSN Viper, we've lost the Stalker in the simulation. We are going to end the simulation there and have a debrief. We'll be shutting down systems.
copy that.
Failed mission, wow. Here we go. Okay, time for a debrief. Well, I hope that was interesting for you from the point of view of command and control. Using the systems, obviously, I can shut down the mission from my end. I think where they went wrong from my viewpoint is they were doing too much attacking. They were trying to attack too much. What they needed to do was draw the enemies away, fly in. They did a couple of good deployments, but after that they needed to get clear of the area and keep clear of it and let the Marines do the work and then swoop in and pick up the Marines. I think they were trying to do too much engaging and too much trying to tackle the enemies instead of pulling them away from that base. So I think that's where they kind of fell down. Let's see what the crews think anyway. Debrief crews and then report to mission briefing room for debrief.
Channel switched.
Let's switch to video loop for you. I think too there might need to be a bit more coordination between the two ships. When you get two ships that work together and attack the same target, they can very quickly take out targets, and I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity. think they're still debriefing on their cruise.
User joined your channel.
Hello.
User joined your channel.
Did everyone else's clients just crash?
Yep.
Yep.
Cool, cool, cool.
So that was a challenging mission for you, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It.
The
User joined your channel.
whatever self aspect there was immediately went out the window as soon as those 3 Skarns dropped in right on top of us.
At the very beginning.
Yes.
Yeah. So I.
My tractor and
Yeah. Yeah, so there was the single Scaran first, and then a small squadron of Scarans. I was like, that will give them something to think about. I don't think there was enough, as much focusing between the 2 ships. I think that might have helped.
Yes, we came to that conclusion as well.
Yeah. And like when you moved into the other sector as well, I reckon you needed to draw the fleets away from the base to make a gap, rather than. I know the fighters were a tricky part in that, but a lot of them were taken out. But I think there could have been more drawing away the fleets to be able to get the Marine teams in. Because once you'd landed the 2 Marine teams, you just needed to sit back and wait for them to do the job then.
Yeah, we had a little bit of trouble. So first of all, I forgot that the defense platforms also had fighters somehow. So I didn't account for that when I tried to go and get Tango and all the on the fleets in the area.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we didn't actually get Delta 1 passes on a couple of the fleets too. So we didn't get the attention of as many ships as I had anticipated.
Yeah.
Did anyone note the hardened defenses on those weapons platforms?
They didn't seem to set, so that intelligence information was incorrect.
Anti-mine, anti-torp.
They did have anti-mine, anti-torp.
Did they?
Hit a
Yes.
fighter with a P-shot,
Excellent.
and it didn't do anything. It just
Oh.
We had sent an
Took
Omega
it.
3 at one of the weapons platforms, and the initial MP strike was destroyed before it reached.
Oh, brilliant.
nuke damage.
By anti-torp, yeah.
They are hardcore now then. Excellent.
And our mines didn't seem to have any effect either.
Yeah, they'd have shut them down. See, the weapons platforms have got a lot of overlapping arcs as well, so that's going to be something new to adapt to. It's interesting though, the rarity of failing a mission. But I thought actually, you know, once we got to that point that, yeah.
I presume the records of this mission will be destroyed when DS2 goes down in flames.
Yeah, including all the people watching. So, it gave them an.
that we're gonna have to lose the YouTube channel.
Yeah, expunged from the records. No, I think that was a tough one because I did throw a lot in there, but I was hoping that you'd be more evasive than throwing yourself right into the thick of it.
If we'd had a few more ships on our side, I think it would have gone better.
Yeah,
that-
definitely.
And during our ship debrief was, you know, we could have used the rest of the fleet on this.
It's meant to be quick in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We've come to kind of like expect, you know, we're used to having, you know, 3, 4, 5 ships around most of the time, so that may have been a factor in tactics, exactly, yeah.
Right, well, I'm gonna bring the stream down. I hope it was interesting for those people viewing, seeing what it was like from command and control, how it helped out, and how we kind of rounded a mission off that ended in a bit of a failure. But, you know, it's an interesting one, and the debrief here, I think, picks out a couple of things of what could have been improved. I think on my end, perhaps fewer enemies forces would have been an idea, and maybe a bit more pointers of keep evasive while the Marines do the work or something. I could have pushed you in that direction a bit more. Yeah.
Now, I do think I have to ask though, were the Marines successful in taking over that or retrieving the hostages? I suppose.
The Marines were just working on it when the Stalker was destroyed.
So
it was
hypothetically, the Viper could have gone on and managed to complete the mission on its own.
It could have done, but you'd have had to rescue the Stalker crew as well, and it was a good point to end because there's like 1 minute left before I'm meant to end this stream. So.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Thank you for crewing for me there. It was a good one, and thank you for watching as well. I'm gonna switch over the stream and fade out.